I think jazz has been able to shape just not only North American, but just world culture because of its core element of freedom. Many times when you see the creation of various different genres of music, they hinge upon a certain type of structure. The idea of jazz was to push the boundaries and the limits of various different structures, not only within the music itself, but also the introduction of instruments that traditionally were not actually used in orchestra settings.
It's something that's moving forward at all times, and that if we don't control what we do, then we're pretty much doing something, we're improvising with our life. Each morning we get up, we can do things like that, think of things we'd like to try, and jazz is the same way. And the results sometimes can be magnificent, other times could be accidental, other times it may not work out.
There are only 12 notes, but in jazz there are not those rigid rules which govern other types of music like classical or even more earthbound or organic types of music like roots music. There's always a freedom of expression that a jazz player can find in this particular music that can't be found anywhere else.
To improvise in jazz is really a sense of freedom that once you've gained a certain amount of skill, the more skill you have, the more freedom you have to express yourself. And it's quite amazing. You know, jazz opens up so many possibilities. It opens up a whole world that you never knew existed, you know, when you really delve into it, you know, and the thrill of playing a decent solo, which doesn't happen very often, but is so magical, you know, and you just realize, I did that. I mean, improvisation is composition in real time, you know, and when you're in a position where you can make a living composing music and play while you're playing it's quite magical. You know? I mean, they don't have to be big events, you know. They can be a small little coffee house somewhere where you might have an audience of 12 people, and yet the magic occurs, you know. Everyone's in tune, the audience, the music, and it just becomes one homogeneous, magical moment.